morning. I am Laurie Lafser. I teach at Royal High School, and because I was here last week, I haven't come back until today. I just put in my 18th year at Royal High School, and so it has definitely been a journey. A little bit about our demographics is that actually when I started at Royal, we were 40% Hispanic. We are now 50%. So the last 18 years, our demographics have shifted quite a bit. And so some of the things, what I'm sharing today is, as you can see, writing an informational or explanatory paragraph. And it's heavily scaffolded. And that's one of the things that with English language learners in our district, we tend to heavily scaffold things, at least in the beginning, to make sure that our students have success. So that's a little bit about me at Royal. We are also a Step Up to Writing school. How many of you are familiar with Step Up to Writing? Raise your hands if you would, please. Okay, that's helpful in knowing. This is year 4 for Royal School District, Step Up to Writing, which of course is not a writing program. It is writing resources. We are year 4 with the Language Arts Department, and then I've spent the last 2 years training the rest of our staff on Step Up to Writing. I'm one of the trainers in our building. And so now Step Up to Writing isn't just a language arts thing, it is an actual school thing. And everyone's been trained for 2 years, grades 6 through 12, in all content areas for Step Up to Writing. So we're pretty excited about that. What we did is, there's so many resources in Step Up to Writing, those of you who are familiar with it. We have decided on about 8 different strategies that we own across the board. And we were really excited last year, we got to pull in a couple of our 5th grade teachers as well. And K-5 has also been trained, but we're not exactly on the same page with Step Up to Writing. So again, this is a lot of what we're using today is finding the Step Up to Writing materials. In terms of grade level target audience, when I did the training last spring, that was the first time that I actually utilized this particular sequencing of events. And I actually utilized it with my 9th grade at-risk kids. I would say that what I show you today, depending on their writing abilities, I would say probably 5th through 9th grade would be appropriate, and then differentiating as needed for that. In terms of the standards, I just pulled up the this really does tap into most of the sequence that we go through. These are the Common Core standards, yes, for 7th grade. And then for reading, it really taps into, let's see here. This is the one. Provide an objective summary of the text. I did demo this to our TC group, and I realized, we were talking about reading skills were addressed, and it really is providing an objective summary. But it also taps into some of the key ideas and supporting details as well, depending on the direction you go in the reading piece. So those are the standards there. Students, basically the prior background that we would want them to have, of course, is some writing background, but also they're going, for what we do today, they're going to need to have some prior background on the Donner Party, because that's the topic that we're utilizing. So even though I am a writing teacher, language arts department, I'm looking at this from a history teacher's content area perspective. Because again, that's one of the things that as a trainer in Royal, that's one of the things we wanted to do. You guys were all writing teachers. And so we were sitting there talking about what could we give the content area teachers in our building and in middle school, what strategies could we give them so that they're comfortable teaching this process. And so the Donner Party is one of them. And that background knowledge is important on the Donner Party, because when I presented this to my 9th grade at-risk freshmen the first time, we assumed things. I thought they would know something about the Donner Party. They didn't even that day. without the background knowledge, the circle chart doesn't do any good. So what I'm going to do today then is take you through a circle chart, 2 column notes, a tree chart, and a paragraph. And we'll get as far as we can in the time that we have. You can see on the back of the first page, I did include the content and language objectives. Royal School District is also a SIOP district, so the Self-Sheltered Instruction Observation Protocol, and we've been doing that for approximately 7 years. So we are required each day to have content and language objectives posted in our room for each lesson, for each class that we teach. This next bit of information, it's pretty quick, but I did want you to understand, those of you who don't have any exposure to Step Up to Writing, this is part of when we did the training, this is just a small snippet of the PowerPoint that we included on our initial training for teachers. Green equals go in Step Up to Writing, and that's your topic and concluding sentences. Yellow is slow down, and that is your key ideas and categories for the writing. And red or pink equals stop, and those are the elaboration skills. And again, this is part of the scaffolding piece. You can use these colors for both reading and for writing. If what you're talking about is going to be writing, then the green is topic, key idea, elaboration, and additional elaboration. If what you're having them do with these colors is reading, then it's going to be title, category, detail, and supporting details. And so the vocabulary shifts just a little bit depending on if you're talking about reading or writing. And then we also go through how to set up the 2-column notes. 2-column notes is one of the pieces of Step Up to Writing that is the adopted note-taking format in grade 6 through 12. And I just color-coded these. Students, is there, I'm getting to the point because students are now becoming more familiar as we continue with Step Up to Writing. We're pulling away from the highlighting because we get it. But at the beginning of the process, as they're internalizing this whole concept, the highlighting part is pretty important for kids. So we will get to this. This is how we will set up our 2-column notes today when we get to that. So we also talk about with planning the writing. This is the sequence that I'll have you go through today: a circle chart, a tree chart, 2-column notes, and then a paragraph. And of course, you can eventually get to the essay as I did. And so we're going to start actually with the circle chart, and the purpose of the circle chart is listed on the PowerPoint there. It activates prior knowledge and builds background, and that, of course, as we know, is a best practice piece. And it also provides students a list of for brainstorming, and they're not worried about organization at this point. And so when we talk about including low-risk writing opportunities, the circle chart really is considered a low-risk writing opportunity. Again, as long as you know that they know something about the topic that you are having them write about. So that's where we're going to start today, and I'll refer back to this as we go through the lesson. Okay, so if you could turn to, just so you know, this is just the heading. We also have a district adopted heading to be utilized, so whenever I put worksheets together, I always include that. So you can just fill it in. Okay, so this, again, this is our circle chart. And our T equals the Donner Party. And again, if I have my highlighters, I would highlight the acid green just as a reference tool for writing colors. And so what I would like you to do next is inside the donut or the circle, I would like you just to brainstorm all of the things that you know or think you know about the Donner Party. And if you'd like to work with your elbow partner, that's fine. If you'd like to do solo, that's fine as well. You can spend a couple minutes brainstorming all the things you know or think you know about the Donner Party. All right, we're ready to bring it back together. So again, the purpose of this is to activate that prior knowledge and also to start building some background. The next feature of the circle chart, because it has the rectangle there on the outside, the next feature is a metacognitive strategy that you have students utilize, and that is, how do you know what you know? So after they've completed the circle chart, the next piece is to fill out as many of the 4 corners as you can with how you know that information. this is the part where, you know what, students may not be able to fill out all 4 corners, and that's okay. But again, you want them to think about their thinking, and so that's just the extra little kind of topic that we're listening to. So once this piece is in place, then hopefully students are a little bit hungry to verify their information. Totally unintentional. Now everyone's let off. But the goal is that hopefully now they want to see how much they actually know and verify that information. Wow, that's funny. All right. So the next piece is this article. Now when we talk about text complexity, I don't find this article very complex, really. I mean, I haven't established the readability of this piece. This was something we got from our middle school history teacher, and so you want to check that out. But originally when we did this, our goal was we have the strategy circle once, underline twice, and that is circle the key idea and then underline supporting details. And when we did this with our training group last spring, the circle once, underline twice was not the best reading strategy based on how this article is organized. And so, you might want to think about what's going to work best for students in terms of the reading activity on this. But what I would like you to do for our intents and purposes is we're going to go through and I will do the first couple paragraphs with you. And we're going to basically go through and underline some pieces that we think are critical information. If we're writing this informative or explanatory text about the Donner Party, what pieces of information are we going to include as text-based evidence? And as we go through here, we want to think with that purpose of the paragraph, knowing that we don't have to choose everything. We don't have to choose everything that we end up underlining. Okay? So as I read through this, weeks behind schedule in the massive Sierra Nevada mountains still to be crossed. On this day in 1846, the members of the ill-fated Donner Party realized they were running short of supplies and sent 2 men ahead to California to bring back food. And again, you can decide what works best for your students. You might want to have them read the entire article first and then go back and underline things. I typically tell students, I typically say read a paragraph and then go back and underline the important details. There's different strategies depending on the reading. So when I look at this, I want to underline Sierra Nevada mountains because that gives me some background context. And of course, 1846. And I would also want to underline that they were running short of supplies because also that gives me some background. And what do? They sent 2 men to California. The group of 89 immigrants had begun their western trek earlier that summer in Springfield, Illinois, under the leadership of the brothers Jacob and George Donner. Fortunately, the Donner brothers had recently read the Immigrant's Guide to Oregon and California, the imaginative creation of an irresponsible author adventurer named Lansford Hastings, who wanted to encourage more overland immigrants to travel to the Sacramento Valley of California. The Donners innocently accepted Hastings' claim that a shorter route he had blazed to California would cut weeks off the usual trip, and agreed to place the fate of the wagon train in his hands once they reached Fort Bridger, Wyoming. From that point forward, the men, women, and children of the Donner Party were in trouble. Underline this because this again establishes some background. Where they came from. Kind of the who, what, where, when, and why things I probably should have prefaced is one of the things that's nice about this activity is does have a range of correctness. You know, as teachers, we're not looking for just one specific right answer. It occurred to me as I was going through this, definitely on students who want them to understand the text structure, and probably at the same time, you'd also want them to make sure that they have a clearly designed or decided upon structure when you do the writing. Is it going to be definition? Is it going to be classification? Is it going to be chronological? And so that's a piece that I hadn't really considered up until the point where last week we were talking about the different text structures. So the next piece is now to categorize our information. And this is one of the key pieces to step up to writing. And again, I have color coded just so you can see how it works in terms of students. And now we're going to start this pre-writing process of writing this informative or explanatory paragraph. So our T remains the same. And this is where we actually start building in some more of those common core standards and text-based evidence. And this is the point at which we can use the article. We can also use our background knowledge on this if it fits into. So you can use your circle chart, you can use the article, and now we are going to categorize. This is just a paragraph that we're writing, and we're going to write a paragraph with 3 key ideas. And each one of these represents a key idea. So for example, we could do, if we were going to kind of go, let's say in a more of a chronological, a timeline order, we could say before the trip. And again, recognize there are different options of doing this. We could make our first key idea before the trip, and we could talk about, then we could go back to our article, and we could write about, and then we're going to provide some elaboration or some supporting details for that. So we could say, say that they were led by the Donner brothers, and they left from. This is where I'm going to go back to the article, make sure I got the text-based evidence correct. They left from Springfield, Illinois. And notice TC group, we're going in a different direction in the key ideas than we did last time we did this, and I did that on purpose to show the variations. Now, just because there's 3 lines, it doesn't mean I have to stop at 3 lines for elaboration for our end purposes today. That's what we're going to do. Because you can have kids, you can give them this worksheet, or you can have them create their own tree charts, and it all works out. So then our next key idea, we could do something like, we could keep this kind of chronological. We could address some details in the first few weeks of the trip. I'm going to go back to my text. And I see that the first few weeks of the trip, of the step up to writing as well. And it's really, again, it's categorizing information. So these would be dashes. This would be a dash, and this would be a dash. But when I mentioned had challenges, I don't want to stop there with the dash. I want to provide some additional elaboration about the specific challenges. So in step up to writing, what you do if you provide additional elaboration about the previous information is you dot it, you indent it in, and you dot it. It's an informal outline. And so I'm going to write down some of the challenges, and I will say that chronological pattern, then we can end with the key idea 1 month in. And that would take us down to the end of the article. So I'd like you to do, with your elbow partner again, if you could go ahead and 1 month in, what are some details that you can provide to fill in that last key idea? All right, let's go ahead and move along here. Would anybody like to share what they came up with here so that I can write this down for 1 month in? Any volunteers? Come back after a week. What's that? Thank you. What else do you have? Yes.
It was a lot of time.
We had under the first one, like a mini bullet underneath that when the man returned, he brought provisions and then 2 Native American guys.
Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna pop this down here. Thank you. There were two Native American guides.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, so we've got that part taken care of. Okay, so this is the part I was just talking to a participant about. This is a lot of thinking on paper, and now it's organized. It's organized thinking. So we've gone from the circle chart, the brainstorming, to the reading, and now to some organized thinking. For some students, and I'm going to take you through both realms, and this next piece for some of you is going to seem repetitive, but I wanted you to have the exposure to both, because what works for some students doesn't work for others, and some of them need both. For some students, they'd be able to write from this tree chart. And I do have some students that prefer this over what we do next. If they write from the tree chart, one of the things I have them do, now these are very external transitions. We know that as students get better writers, we want them to use those more embedded transitions. These are the very external ones. So if they were to write from the tree chart, I would want them to write in transitions. And actually, let's see. I'm trying to think of when I write this into a paragraph, some transitions that would work well here. And actually, because it's chronological, those are our transitions, aren't they? Yeah. Yeah, if you have them organize it differently, like classifying ideas like we did last time with the TC group, that's where you would need to do to start off with, you know, in addition, in the end, those kinds of things. But for this case, we're not going to do that because our transitions are really embedded. But just as an FYI, if you have students write from this, you want them to script in their transitions.
But you could get some of the transitions from the text, like early in the summer.
Oh, okay.
So they could look for a transition that's already in the text.
And then use that.
Like,
Okay, good point. Right, especially because the article's written chronologically as well. Okay, so the next piece of this is to, oh, and on the back of the page, just so you know, I included this one. If you're going to have students write directly from the tree charts, you can see the dashes and the dots are already front-loaded. And again, they don't have to follow that exact format. But we have a rule. If you whenever you have a dash, you have to have at least one dot, because we want that layered writing. We don't want the list. And so that's just another piece that you can utilize. And this actually, I created this one. Our junior level English teacher said, you know what? I'm not going to have kids do the 2-column note pre-write, which is the next piece. They got this. So if you could create a tree chart that has this here, then I will have to write directly from that. So that's why I made that. All right, so the next step is to basically plan out their informal outline. We also call this their 2-column pre-write. This is the adopted note-taking format for our district, or 612 for our district. And so we just call it the 2-column note pre-write. Step up to writing actually calls it the informal outline. And so I'm actually going to create a 2-column note pre-write. This is just the format, the general format, the T equals, the C equals, the key ideas, and then the elaboration. But because mine does not fit exactly with what this looks like, I'm going to write it on my own sheet of you have a regular sheet of paper that you'd like to use, you can do that, or you can just use the back of your circle chart, which is what I'm doing. Now, our students in Royal High School and Middle School, they're pros at this. 4 steps to setting up the 2-column notes. And the first step is the fold. And for the fold, if you have regular paper, what you do is you take the left side of the paper, and where you have that margin line on regular paper, you fold over to the margin line that's on the back of the regular paper. So your left margin's always smaller than the right. So that's the first step in setting up the 2 columns. And I see that it on this one. Okay, and the second step are the lines. And we always have students do the lines at the top. And this is actually has to do more with how the brain works. This is a physical separation, so the brain actually separates it out as well. And so I put basically it's mostly a T. But again, this left side should be smaller than the right. The left side should be smaller than the right. So that's the fold. The third step of the 2-column notes is the heading. And for our district, it's name, date, class and period, and the assignment title. And of course, you guys don't need to do the heading piece. I just want to show you how we set it up. And then our 4th step is the title or the topic. And of course, we are keeping it real here, using the same one each time. Okay, at this point, we would have students transfer over, and this would also be an opportunity if they wanted to add any additional elaboration. We're going to have students transfer over their information from the tree chart over to the 2-column notes. So my first one is going to be before the trip. This is my key idea. Okay, so again, I'm just using the tree chart that I already put together. Now I noticed here I put 89 immigrants, and I noticed that I did not have, all I had on my tree chart was a dash. So I'm going to add some extra elaboration about that, or try to. Go back to the article. And even though I just said the rule is whenever you have a dash and have a dot, I'm not really seeing much additional elaboration on that. Oh yeah, we're just, oh okay. Oh, good point. Thank you. Thank you. Again, you can see we could keep adding additional information, but the shocking thing is going to be when we get done with this free write. If you've ever had students struggle with writing a well-developed paragraph, this delivers. You're not going to get a 3-sentence paragraph out of it. Okay, and then my next one was left from Springfield, Illinois. So then, before I move on to the next key idea, again, this is a step up to writing strategy. This is where you block in your transitions. If we were categorizing this differently, again, we would put struggle with transitions at any level, having them script them in. Okay, so I guess this is a good time to kind of reflect on the fact that one of the things that has come out of this for me as a teacher of writing is that, and for students, it's very much been a paradigm shift. They are so used to spending more time drafting and less time planning. This is a paradigm shift because all of a sudden, now they're spending a lot of time planning, and then when they get to go to the draft, they realize how much better it is. And I did have students, I talked to my students really frankly about that during the research. I said, how many of you really feel that the 2-column note rewrite improved, how many of you feel like they improved your research project? And overwhelmingly, I had about three-quarters of each class. And then they talked about that and elaborated on it. This is a lot of work.
Yeah, and that's where experienced writers spend most of their time.
Yes. But I think they also recognized they had a lot less revising to do. When I sat down with them at conferences, they got a lot less revising to do. They could focus on the word choice and the sentence fluency and not focus so much on the content organization.
And they grow up and they have information to work with.
Okay, so then we'll move on to our next key idea, which is first use. So I added in some elaboration on that, using on that shorter route as Hastings advice. And I'm just going to jot down all of my challenges. I already have lots of elaboration on that. And I'm doing a little bit of revising as I go, just to simplify. Moving on to the last key idea. Okay, so again, this is probably the most cognitively demanding, the last two stages of the most cognitively demanding for students. But then when they get to this point, I cannot stress enough, they're no longer, all they have to worry about is getting these things into sentences now. They don't have to worry about creating and building and organizing, because all that is done. All right, so the final step, of course, is to actually write the paragraph. We have everything that we need. Well, except for our concluding sentence. I'll get to that. Okay, so my T, this here's my grade equals a Donner Party. Each of these are my key ideas, and then this is all my elaboration for the paragraph. So, we have to come up with obviously a topic sentence for this. Yes,
Laurie, before we move away from this stage, I have Black English 9th and some 10th grade students who are all over the map with capitalization. I'm just wondering if this might be a place to hammer that. So that's one less thing to think about as long as we're doing this together, this is where that conversation, we've been working on that capitalization comes up, and they don't get to be sloppy.
Yeah, I think it can begin to have that conversation. The only thing I would mention is with the key ideas, I typically capitalize each letter of the significant words in the key ideas. So if you're going to have them do that, you know, maybe focus on not worrying about the capital letters and the key ideas, you know, at all. It's probably, well, I guess it depends on how they write this. This may be the first part, but typically this would be the first part. So yeah, you can talk to them about that. And if you're guiding, if it's, you know, guided and modeled, then there's no reason why we shouldn't be doing
Yes.
Okay, so the next thing is to, and I'm thinking on the fly here too, because I intentionally did not want to have this planned ahead, is to come up with a really good topic sentence. And of course, we're going to make some inferences here when we create the topic sentence. I keep wanting to say ill-fated, and then didn't we talk about that? That's actually in the article. So I don't think I want to use ill-fated.
This is why I'm doing this.
No, this is for our topic sentence. Of course, Donner Party has to be in it. We have the idea there, but we have the topic, but we don't have the main idea.
Oh, yeah.
What started out as a promising journey, I'm trying to throw in some word choice things too. I'm getting ahead of myself. You know, normally we wouldn't worry about word choice, but I'm standing up here in front of you guys, so I gotta look at that. Sure. What started out as a promising journey. What's that? Quickly. Oh, and then I didn't even quickly became disastrous nightmare. All right, thank you for your help.
Can we ask her what she made that difference? Quickly became a disaster.
Sure. So what?
Set in the text.
It was just a snowball that I saw her on, and then they read it, and then it just went downhill from there. And then you said you wanted to include the Donner Party in the topic sentence, so we could just add this toward the Donner Party.
Oh, yes, thank you, Amy. Thanks for reminding me of that. Why would I do that? It's keeping me on task.
How about before that, say you shouldn't always believe what you read?
Yeah, you could actually include a hook. You could actually include a hook there.
What was her comment? You should always believe what you read. Oh, yes.
Yeah, if you want to zest this up a little bit, that's good because then you're having them work on some stylistic pieces as well. How do we want to finish that off then, since that was your idea?
What you have right there. Started out with promising journey.
Oh, so we're just going to have a fragment there. Okay. So then we're ready to jump right into the first key idea. And the first key idea, this is always a little bit, in this, the way that we organize it is a little bit challenging to have before the trip. Now typically in our key idea, we want to include, you know, we want to start off with before the trip, or if it's in different classification, you would want to start off with the transition. It's really kind of some background about it too. What's in 1846? Okay, so I could say before the trip, the Donner Party assembled. And actually, I was gonna do a sentence one thinking, but we'll just put a period there. Typically, the key ideas, when you start students out with this, the key ideas are their own sentence. You don't really wanna mix the key ideas and the elaboration to start off with. It included. You guys are writing too, right? Remember that old rule when the teacher writes, you guys should be writing as well?
So they just be doing this on a totally separate paper?
Yes, they would have, and actually what they could do is, if you have them do the 2-column note rewrite on the front, I would have them write a paragraph on the back, just because some kids like to use a separate sheet so that they don't have to keep looking back and forth, but.
So how many times do you go through this process with kids before you let them start to do it on their own?
No, and that's a good question. Like I said, I didn't actually, we taught this to our groups last spring. So with my sophomores, I'm gonna have to see when they do their paragraph pre-assessment at the beginning of their sophomore year in the fall, I'll have to see where they're at. If they got this, then we don't have to run through this whole thing very often. Maybe once and then, they go from there, but it just really depends. I have a list of I always put together a hot list of kids at the beginning of the year that based on standardized writing tests and also how they did on the paragraph pre-assessment. These kids, when I differentiate it, I would do a couple of things when I differentiate the writing for them. One of them is, instead of writing 3 key ideas, I would have them write 2. And the other is I would take them through more of these in an individualized group in the classroom while the other kids are working more independent. Okay, so I'm gonna grab the highlighters. So for some students, if this is as long as their paragraph is, they're like really happy. That's not good enough though. We got 2 more key ideas. We want to give you a good summary. At least where I'm speaking for the high school level, of course. So when students are learning this process of organizing their writing, because I don't know how you guys feel, I feel that students typically have excellent ideas for writing, and the problems come with how to organize the writing in a useful way. And so as they're learning this, you can actually have them go through and see how their tree chart, their 2-column note rewrite, how it turns into elaboration. And of course, we know lots of things is best, so that it's not layered, or not, so it's not listed, it's layered. Okay, and then we are ready to the first few weeks. So now I'm going to my second key idea. The first few weeks progressed. There's my second key idea. I apologize for my penmanship here. I realize we've got about 10 minutes left. So, based on Lansford Hastings' advice, they took a so-called know, again, there's no set rules here on how many sentences they have to write. They can, you know, combine them however. So it's gonna work for them. Then we go to now, when we had teachers do this in the training, some of the teachers had a lot of fun with stylistic devices. Notice that this is a very objective, for the most part, it's a pretty objective summary since that's the standard we're meeting, depending on the group. You know, our group, like I said, our group of teachers came, even not just the English teachers either, our group of, some of the other teachers came up with some really fun, very voiceful paragraphs. Now, I'm not sentence counting, but you can see that this is a fully developed. Okay, and then our final piece in the paragraph then is to come up with our concluding sentence. There should always be, according to CWWP, sort of concluding sentence, and of course, that is going to have some inference in it as well. We don't want to just restate what the topic sentence already says. So any ideas on a good sentence? We could go back to the hook in some way and add some, make an echo.
Well, they ended up stuck in a snowstorm, right? Snow.
What's that?
They ended up stuck in snow, right? So you can say something about snowfall. Unfortunately, winter came early.
You know, put a donor party. What is it? I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I said unfortunately, Hastings fiction is not Donald Carter's reality, and the snowstorm set occurred.
Hastings' vision.
His fiction was not the Donald Carter's reality.
Because then it does tie into the setup there. Okay, so as you can see, a lot of different directions to go in this. Now at this point, this is where I stopped with the demo, but at this point, you know, you can have them go back in and revise, you can have them count their words and their sentences, look at sentence structure, you can have them revise word choice. A content area teacher may very well stop at this point and call it good. And, you know, I would probably, as an English teacher, I would want them to work on revising it, or like I said, sentence fluency and word choice. Content's there, the organization is there, you know, and that's what we want to do. So let's see, let me look over this real quick here. I mentioned differentiation. You know, in terms of research that supports this, Step Up to Writing is well researched as well, but we all know this is the writing process. We went through the planning, writing here. I do have electronic formats with me of the circle chart and both the tree charts, but if you want those, I have those on my pen drive. And you know, in terms of, again, other age groups, you could break this down. You know, I talked to a kindergarten, a possible kindergarten adaptation. I could use this with, I could even use this, we have some juniors who haven't passed the history writing yet. And I can see even with our junior level, actually with the class that's